everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Nerd for No Reason podcast. We have taken 2 weeks off. We have recharged our batteries.
God bless.
God bless, and we have come back today not just to entertain ourselves and to get it off our chest. We came back today to entertain you. I am one of your fantastic hosts, Mark.
I'm over here throwing up the praise hands. I'm Raven. What's up, guys?
Raven, how have you
man?
been? I've literally have not talked to you in like 2 weeks. I think this is the longest we've gone without talking to each other since we've started this podcast.
Right? Yeah, I went away for a nice little vacation with a whole bunch of our friends and just totally checked out. And it was great. It was so nice.
Where'd you go? What'd you do?
We went to the Smoky Mountains, which is basically just our backyard because we live in Knoxville. But that being said, it was great. We stayed in like this cabin and we had like the best view possible. We just see mountains upon mountains. And there was like a lot of storms that kept happening. And so it'd be really nice when it was like nighttime and we just like watched thunderstorms. Like we all sat in the dark and we were just like, this is great. We just get to watch all this thunder. And like, not thunder. We get to watch all this lightning. We would occasionally hear some thunder. Anyways, but yeah, we went rock climbing, which was the first time Chris and I had done it, because our friends, Sam and Justine, they do it like every single weekend. And they were like, guys, we really want to take everyone rock climbing. So we were like, sure, let's do it. It was great. I have no upper body strength, 100%. It is all just leg strength. So
now, did you guys go rock climbing for real rocks?
No, we went to like one of those little, gym type things.
Yeah.
But it was a really good time. Chris and I really had a good time with that, and we might actually try and go do that some more because there's a few places here in Knoxville that do it, and then there's like this really big one downtown in Chattanooga that you can climb outside of the wall with it too, and it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, we did a lot of things, ate some good food. We got our friends some good barbecue because they were like, hey, if we're coming to the South, let's do it. And we were yeah. We got you. No worries, fam. But yeah, that's what my lovely vacation was basically about. Just hanging out. How's your 2 weeks been that I haven't really talked to you?
Man, I wish that I could be like, I did all of this fun stuff. I haven't. I've just been going to work, living my absolute, just normal, boring life. Just
yeah. I mean, kids started back to school, so that's...
Yeah, they're actually doing really good, and I'm really happy because Alice, has made the transition into high school now. So
yeah,
and she's done exceptionally well. She got sick this week, so she's been out a couple days, and we're trying to stave it off from the rest of the family. But so we're trying to keep a lid on that. Like right now, Amy is at my mother-in-law's house, so she doesn't get sick because we can't afford for both of them to be out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're hoping she can go back to school Tuesday. She was bad, and Saturday I don't know if I had what she had, and just thanks to my good immune system, I didn't fully get it. But Saturday I was like, God, I am tired. I woke up at 7:00. Stayed up for a couple hours, went back to sleep, slept till noon, and then still spent the rest of the day of just I feel like I'm about to fall asleep.
Hey,
and
man, sometimes you just need one of those days to just be like, it's a sleep day. Those are my favorite.
And usually I don't get those, and I guess because Amy wasn't here, I was like, I don't have to worry about being accountable for Amy. You know, like keep making sure that she's entertained or doing stuff or doing this or that or, you know, hey dad, hey dad, hey dad. It wasn't there, and I guess my brain was just like,
What are we
shut
doing?
down, dude.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, we're just chugging along, man. Not a whole lot's been going on. It's been super hot here, and it sucks. So.
The good old humidity of August.
And next weekend it's supposed to hit triple digits again.
Jeez.
And I am not thrilled with that shit at all.
I feel you. 100%. Yeah, all of our friends were like, ew, it's like sticky and stuff down here. We were like, yeah, we hate it.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
Oh.
So, I know that you've been movieing a lot lately. You've been telling me about all the good movies you've been seeing while I've been busy.
Yeah, I actually went to a real theater and saw a real movie on opening weekend, and I was so proud of myself. I went and saw Ninja Turtles. Was it last weekend or a couple weeks ago? Whenever it came out, I think it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I loved it. This was a great movie. I think, yeah, we did the 1990 Ninja Turtles on here a couple months ago, and I love that movie, and that's still my favorite. But this one is a very close second. This is great. Ice Cube, holy crap, was I not expecting Ice Cube to be a good voiceover person for a Ninja Turtles movie. But boy, did Ice Cube bring it. All the turtles brought it. All of these stars, quote unquote, that they show in the trailers, like, oh yeah, you know, this person is this and this and this, and they have like this big long list of all these people. Those are just glorified cameos. After seeing this movie, I'm genuinely upset that they don't put the kids who are the four main turtles. I get it because they're four kids you've never heard of before, but man, is their chemistry just on absolute fire in this movie. It is so good and so spectacular. And the highlight of the movie for me was they played one of my absolute favorite songs that I think you could put in any situation, and it is a perfect kind of get hype, we're about to do something awesome thing, and that is Ante Up by M.O.P. And they used the absolute best use of this song ever. It was so spectacular. Like I was in the theater with this big shit-eating grin on my face, like that is how you do it right there. So yeah. It was great.
Did you go solo or did you take any of the kiddies?
I went solo. Usually when I go to the movies, I like to go solo because I like paying attention to the movie, and I don't want to have to worry about, you know, going to the bathroom or doing this or doing that and da-da-da-da-da. And I find it just to be a more enjoyable experience if I could just say, you know what, I'm going. Y'all leave me alone for 2 hours. I'm going to clock out, and I'm going to do this. And sure enough, the second I walked out, it was just like as soon as the credits rolled, man, like the buzzer went off in everyone's brain, and I just started getting text messages. Oh, hey,
Dad,
when you
Dad,
coming home?
When you coming home? When are we going to do this? Dad, hey, Dad, hey, Dad, hey, Dad. And then.
You know, you're joking. You're joking right now.
Oh, but I'm not, because I know how it is.
So, but yeah, Ninja Turtles is fire, and when it comes on digital, we will absolutely talk about it on this show, because it was great.
All right.
I also saw, because it came out on digital, and this might be the movie for next week, because right before the show started, dear ladies and gentlemen, Raven seemed a little bit jealous that I had seen this movie and she hasn't yet. And that is Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. Oh my God. Okay. First, I will give you my negatives, what I did not like about the movie, and that is that it is the middle of a trilogy, and I do not get an end to my story.
Oh.
But everything else is a freaking masterpiece of a film.
I'm
Holy
honestly not
crap.
surprised because the first one is just so great.
It was
Ugh,
it was described to me like this when a buddy of mine saw it, because Spider-Verse came out around the same time as Tears of the Kingdom did,
yes.
and he said he got done watching it and he texted me from the theater and he said, "You know how Tears of the Kingdom makes Breath of the Wild look like a tech demo for Tears of the Kingdom? That's the way Across the Spider-Verse does to the first Spider-Verse film." Because you're watching that first one, and you're like, how can this get any better? And then you watch the second one, and you're like, holy crap, they did it. This is incredible.
Yeah. I'm super jealous.
I genuinely cannot think of... I don't want to get too deep into it without, like, because, like I said, we'll probably do this next week. And I don't want to just like say everything I got to say now, but it's hard for me to find fault in anything that they did. It was that incredible. So, yeah, wonderful, wonderful movie.
Yeah, some of my friends went to see it while it was in the theater, and they were just like, oh my god, it's amazing. And I'm just like, ugh. But we were just so busy during, like, the time that it was in the theater. And there was, like, one day that we could have gone, but then something happened. We weren't able to go, and that was the last showing of it, like, in the theaters. And I was like, ah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would love to watch it if you want to do it for next week.
Okay.
Spoiler
Done
alert
and
to the,
done.
the listeners.
It's all right. They can join in with us, and we can... Well, I guess we can't watch together, but...
But you go watch it so you know what's good.
So that's 2 cowabungatastic movies I saw this week, or in the last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Wait, did you? No, you didn't see Barbie, or did you?
Yeah, I saw Barbie.
That's right. Man, you're getting all the good movies.
Man,
I still haven't seen Barbie.
dude,
We wanted to go see it on vacation, but then it just didn't work out.
man,
Nothing's working out for me to watch good movies.
Barbie's another one of those movies that I didn't really know what to expect. And ever since I watched it, I'm just like, God, this movie's going to win Oscars. The Barbie movie, there's not a doubt in my mind it's going to get nominated for Best Song. And I cannot wait for Ryan Gosling and Simu Liu, I think that's how you say his name, Shang-Chi, to sing I'm Just Ken at the Oscars. Because they have to. If they don't, if we do have the Oscars this year, then...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We are in what? Month 3 of the writers, month 2 of the actors strike?
It's been going on a hot minute.
Yeah, it's 6 months, boy. We're going to feel this.
Yeah.
After the turn of the year, when it becomes like the dumping ground for movies, everyone's going to be like, yay.
Everyone's going to be like, what are we watching? Nothing.
Right. And then Hollywood's going to be like, well, we didn't make any money, so now we got to raise ticket prices.
Hey, movie theaters would love to do that. That's their thing, man.
No.
But whatever.
Oh, all right. Are you ready? Are you ready to talk about this movie? Because I'm ready to talk about this movie. Our movie for the week.
I think I'm ready to.
You ready to put on your clown makeup?
I'm ready to get down with the clowns.
There we go. This week, ladies and gentlemen, is none other. We've been teasing it for 2 weeks because we never recorded like the week you were supposed to start your vacation. This week is none other than the Juggalo cult classic, Big Money Hustlas, starring Violent J, Shaggy 2 Dope, Madrox, Monoxide Child, Jump Steady, Fred Rerun Barry, Harlan Williams, one of the jerky boys. There's so many people in this movie. Yeah, Raven, I know you just got done watching this movie.
I did.
Please tell me what you thought of Big Money Hustlas.
Oh my goodness. I get where your personality comes from at this point. I just watched it and I was like, man, this is the most Mark movie possible. I get where, like, I feel like half of your personality just comes from this movie. Not necessarily that you, like, quote it, but I could see you easily fitting in with these types of guys. It almost, like, at the very beginning, it's just, like, so goofy. It almost feels like a weird version of, like, if the Three Stooges were, like, gangsters. Like, something like that.
Damn, that is a great analogy. That is
Thank
a fantastic analogy.
That's instantly, like, what I was like, bro, what am I watching? The plot is interesting, that's for sure. You gotta make sure you get your money. Got some interesting characters going on, which of course we'll do a good old breakdown of some of those. Because at some point Chris came in, and he just plopped on the bed, started watching like halfway through it with me. And it gets to some of these characters, and he just hears the names, and he just, like, loses it. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I was expecting. I knew that if Chris, like, watched any part of this, he was just going to be like, okay. Like, he gave me no notes of anything that we watched. He just cracked up at just some of the stupidity of it. So, Mark, I know that this is a movie that you have definitely seen I don't know how many times. Please, tell me about why this movie is so influential to your life.
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when this is kind of like a Three Stooges movie with Insane Clown Posse. And yeah. I think the best part about this is that it's goofy, but it's not like those what I refer to as movies like Scary Movie or Spartan Movie or whatever the new one is that makes fun of the Fast and Furious franchise. That they're just they don't do quality jokes, they just do quantity jokes. So their jokes per minute is super high, but like they're all dumb and goofy. I feel like this one is, even though it is very niche comedy, I think you walk into it knowing exactly what you're going to get, and then Big Stank and Lil Poot show up, and you're like, you know what? I'm on board. These two idiots make the whole movie. And, yeah. Plus, it came along at a very special time in Mark's life. When he was full on Juggalo, and yeah, this movie is fantastic to me. Plus, I've turned people on to this movie so many times over the years where I'm just, they're like, oh, I'm not watching no dumb Insane Clown Posse movie, and then in the first 5 minutes they're like,
what is
all right,
this?
I'm in.
Yeah, it's just,
I'm in. It
somehow sucks you in the most, like, you just don't know what to expect.
Right.
You just know that you're going to watch something and be like, all right, you know what? It's an Insane Clown Posse movie. What am I here to question?
Right. Because you know good and well, especially from if you've seen the box art. So if you were walking past in a video store or, somewhere, you saw the box art for this on a streaming service, which I don't think this is on any streaming service. Like, it's on YouTube. The entire movie is on YouTube for free. And if you see the box art for this, with Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope on the cover, and you're like, I know going into this that I am not going to get Juice or Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society or any of like these hood classic movies that kind of were released around this time. Mm-hmm. You know that you're going to get something kind of corny. Especially, like, you know, because and there's so many little tropes that they have in this movie that, you're right, have influenced my entire, like, sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like, this movie was 100% like it was geared right for me. Sugar Bear, you got a dude named Sugar Bear who has horns plays every time he comes in, or they say his name. Even like right in a row, just
yes,
dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful, 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 wonderful. Raven, what did you think of Big Stank and Lil Poot? My favorite characters of this whole dumbass movie.
Oh man, they were something. I mean, honestly, I feel like in this day and age, you can find people like that very easily, that are just like the backup hype men for someone that you're just like, these two dumbasses don't know anything that's going on, but they're just here to just have a good time, fuck around.
Right.
Just do whatever. I really like that they just, you know, would kind of do their own thing, and then what was it, Big Baby Sweets would just like kind of like say things to him, and then it'd be like this weird random like sexual thing at him, and then they'd be like, what? Like when Big Baby Sweets is over there like, give me my fucking money. That whole like first little bit where it's just going by person, and those two are just in the back, just like, yeah, give him his money. Everything he says, we're gonna repeat it 100%. So they were something.
I really enjoyed the fact that both of those characters are in a rap group called Twiztid, which is one of my favorite rap groups, still to this day. And I think they went into this going, we're making acting choices, and you can't tell us otherwise, because they committed to their character absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
It was with Monoxide, with Lil Poot, speaking with the list like this, son, was my favorite thing ever. There was a time when I made it a point to where I mastered that, how to do that accent for sure. I would just rock around like this and be talking like this.
I've definitely like heard you say it, and so like when it came out, and I was like, "This is where Mark gets some of." I know that you get some of your material of just how you are from this movie.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of DNA in this. Like, this is the source code for certain Markisms in here. Especially you can see it come out whenever me and Chris start really antagonizing my dad.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Like, I'm just full on like, yeah, fuck that. You better have his motherfucking money. You know.
It's funny whenever your dad tries to like say stuff like that too. And he'll like try and like respond back at you, and it just like he misses the mark, but it's so good.
Right.
In a good way.
Little guy gets an A for effort.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of surprised that they got some of the people they got in this movie, because even though, well, I'm gonna rewind a little bit. Yeah, I know. The story about this movie, like how they decided to do this movie, and this is from the official autobiography of the Insane Clown Posse called Behind the Paint, that is by far my favorite book in the whole big wide world, which is weird because I'm not that big of a Juggalo anymore, and I still love this book. But they talk about in the late 90s where, I know, Raven, you don't remember this, but if anyone was a fan in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, there was this big trend where rappers, especially independent rappers, would put out their own movies, and they would do like these big fancy pen and pixel art boxes of just like, of just with all kinds of money and gold and flashy jewelry and all this, and then when the movie comes on, you could tell that it was clearly shot with like a handy cam, and they're smoking real weed, and those are real guns that they have, and it was shot on a shoestring budget, and it is horrible. And they were like, well, we have money now. We have a big label. Let's see what we can do. So they asked for some amount of money, and Violent J sat down and wrote the movie, and they were just like, we don't care, So they set out and just made the movie that they wanted to make, for better or for worse. And this is what we have. And then later on, the sequel to this is set in the Wild West, called Big Money Hustlas.
Nice.
It's wild, man. It's a wild time. But no, this was kind of like a labor of love for them, because no one except for the psychopathic crew wanted to be there. And maybe like but all the behind the scenes people hated it, because
dang,
no one wanted to be there, be involved with these guys, because they're a little
they're a little crazy, a little out there.
Yeah, a lot to deal with, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Especially when they're kind of the ones putting up the money, so they kind of say what goes, and I've been around people like that where you're just like, no, that's not a good idea. And they're like, you know what? No, but it's real good if you do this. And they just want to argue because their vision is whatever, and they don't understand that's not how it works. And then you just kind of got to relinquish.
Yeah.
So, so I did turn on a guy at work to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, you got to go watch it. I sent him a link, and he was one of those people, like the first time Big Stank and Lil Poot showed up, he's like, I got to stop watching this at work because I'm already hooked. I got to watch this at the house tonight. And he came back, and he delivered probably the most valid form of criticism I've heard of this movie. And I agree with him 100%. And that is, a lot of the scenes, they just go on too long.
Fair.
They go on too long, where you could probably shave about 30 seconds to a minute off of a scene where you just get in, tell a joke, and get out. And this movie would be almost goofily perfect. It wouldn't be 5 stars, but it would be, it would make it way better for what it is.
Okay. I can see that. I can definitely see where some of these scenes you're just like, all right, okay, we get the bit.
Right.
Let's go. I mean, when they're in the strip club and Missy is just doing her thing, right. And it's just like, man, that one dude that's sitting in the front, he's like, come on, I want the show, give it to me.
Yeah.
And you're just like, bro, chill out.
Right.
And then eventually, your boy Sugar Bear's like, hey, what's good, girl?
Sorry,
and so
I had to.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's his calling. That's his cue. But and then it gets to the point where she sits down at the bar, and he's sitting over there. And he to the bartender, he's just like, hey, whisper something to him. He walks over and he's like, the man at the end of the bar would like to buy you a slice. and then just holds up just like a random slice of pizza out of nowhere, and she's just like, thanks. And it's just one of those like weird scenes that you're just like, okay. And then you go back to her place, and her whole house is like food decorated. Like as soon as it shows the bed, I was like, that's just a big cake. It is decorated like a cake, 100%. Yep. And that scene in itself was pretty wild.
One of my favorite lines in this movie, one of my favorite characters in this movie is when they're eating donuts at the aptly named Donut Hut.
Yes.
And Gorilla Boy walks in, and he says the lines that I still use to this day. He goes, he's like, everyone back up or I'm going to start peeling caps like bananas. And I swear to God.
Oh, man. You got to start saying that to the girls. And then they're just going to be like, I don't know what Dad's on right now.
I say dumb stuff like that to them all the time. And
it just goes over their head, right?
Right. It goes straight over their head. They have no idea.
Kelly's just over there shaking her head like,
oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. She's just like, oh, there he goes again. But that one, and when Sugar Bear, the first time he busts Big Baby Sweets, and he busts him in the bedroom, and Lil Poot walks in, he's like, I got the baby, oh, who's but I'm finna rub. God, I'm telling you, that and Magic Ninja Wood is some dumb shit.
Yeah.
When I'm walking through the hallways at work and it's just me and I'm left to my own thoughts, that is the type of dumb stuff that runs through my mind. Again, the DNA.
Oh, yeah. I believe it.
Baby, oh, who's but I'm finna rub.
That little trio's whole shtick is like, all right, they're very close, but Big Baby Sweets obviously runs this show. But at the same time, he's just like, hey, you gonna do this for me? And then the other two are just like, but then they just do it anyways. Like where he's like, hey, give me a chip, and homeboy literally just like pulls one off his stomach and like weirdly tries to feed it to him and just drops it. I like their weird little dynamic that they had going on for that. I think that was a really good bit that they were doing with that.
It is. I think it's. This is gonna sound so dumb, and I know it is, but you're right. It is such a good bit. It's such a good comedic. Like, you could tell that they were friends at the time because they played off of each other exceptionally well. Mm-hmm. Which makes me sad that they are not friends even remotely anymore. Oh. Back in, I can't remember. Twiztid left the record label shortly after Big Money Hustlas was released, I think. And it's like they are not friends at all anymore. There's very bad blood between them. But I look back at stuff like this, I'm like, man, y'all legitimately had something special.
100% bromance.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh. R.I.P. the bromance.
And I love how the story just kind of also doesn't really, like, it's not really like, looking at this from like a satellite view, it's like trying to describe the Waffle House to somebody. Like, is the story good? No. Is the acting good? No. Is the are the set pieces really engaging, or is the music really engaging? And you're like, no, not really. I mean, it's just Insane Clown Posse music, instrumentals put under everything. You know, like, is there any singular element about this movie that's good? And you're like, no, but you got to see it. It's fantastic. You know, like, it's not going to win any Oscars, but you walk out of it going, all right. Yeah, all right, I get it. Okay.
Dude, my grandparents went, or at least my grandmother. I don't know if my grandfather ever did, but like she went to a Waffle House for the first time ever, like this year. Woman is going to be 70, like next month. And so every now and then she'll just be like, we could have went to Waffle House for breakfast. And I'm just like, excuse me? You are okay with eating in this silly little dingy place where the food is like, it's fine. It's definitely good for if you're like hungover or something like that. Or you're just like, hey, it's the middle of the night. I'm craving some scattered and smattered and smashed and bashed, all them little whatevers. Some little, what is it? Hash browns?
Smothered, covered.
No, what I said is right.
Yep.
I just couldn't think of the word hash brown.
Smashed, cracked, grabbed, suplexed.
That Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I want my hash browns Crash Bandicooted.
And they're just like, yeah, we got you. And then they just bring you out like the craziest thing ever, and you're like, is it going to give me some heartburn? Probably.
Yeah.
But am I going to enjoy it in this moment right now? Absolutely.
You damn right you will.
Yep. And that's what this movie did.
Yep. This is the Waffle House of movies.
That's such a good explanation of it.
It absolutely is. I think that's how I'm going to pitch it now. I'm just going to be like, it's the Waffle House of movies. And they're going to be like, what? I'm like, listen, get drunk at 3 a.m., watch it. You will not be disappointed.
True. Absolutely true. Oof.
All right, I think that's as good a place as any for us to wrap it up.
All right.
With Big Money Hustlers. You got anything else for Big Money Hustlers?
Man. I know this is your movie. So if you're ready, we can go for it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to my favorite time of the week. Raven, what has made you happy this week?
Well, I obviously went on vacation. I went on a week-long vacation from Tuesday to Tuesday. It was great. We had a great time. It was so nice hanging out with our friends. One of our friends wasn't able to make it, so one of Chris's best friends came instead, and that in itself was great because he just gets along with everyone. So we had a good time with that. And then on Friday, I drove to South Carolina to go see some of my family after work. And I came back today, and honestly, that was like the best thing that I could have done. Like, this whole week has just been like such a high for me because I really needed like a good break of reality. Because even though I really love my job, because I love dogs. We all know this. This is all I ever talk about. It's my lovely little job. But, you know, at some point you're like, I am so tired of these morons that I have to, like, deal with because they're like, well, I brush my dog. And you're like, you don't brush your dog. And that's why I'm having to shave it right now. And we have this conversation every single time I come. But so for me to go and have time with a bunch of friends, do a little tiny bit of work, and then go see family who I haven't really seen that family in like over a year because I was, doing my thing in Lexington and moving back to Knoxville. It was just so great. We literally, my aunt and I watched just like random TV shows last night, ate chocolate ice cream as dinner, and just chatted about anything and everything going on in our lives. And it was like the best time ever. So that's what has made me extremely happy this week. And I hope that I get to have another experience like that pretty soon because I really love that side of my family. So Mark.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so good. What has made you happy this week?
Oh, man. like I said, not a lot's really been going on. It's been fairly quiet on the home front. And I know that I talk about my kids a lot on this podcast, and this is not the first time nor the last time that I will talk about them making me happy. But the kind of few things that I can think of from this week are all centered around my kids, of like, they have been on fire. Like, Amy especially has been on fire with the jokes lately. She will see something and it will just make her happy, and then all of a sudden it's just we were sitting in the line to drop her off, and the guy in front of us had a University of Georgia sticker, and all it was just the G, and next to it said Dad. You know, presumably that like one of his kids is in UGA. And Amy sees this and she's like, Dad, look at that sticker. And like, what is that? I was like, oh, that's University of Georgia. She's like, he's a Georgia dad? I go, yeah. She immediately switches and she goes, he's a Georgia dad. And then from there, I'm like, that's funny. And then she's just like, she reverts. She starts sounding like them guys, like they took our jobs from South Park.
Oh, yeah.
She does that voice unknowingly, like that she sounds like this, but she's just like, I'm a Georgia dad. And it is just the dumbest, funniest thing. And yeah, man, she's been on fire. And she has set me up for just wonderful, wonderful jokes where she'll say something and then I'll respond. I'll fall right into the trap because I won't even know she's doing it. And then I'm just like, oh, you set me up for that, didn't you? She's like, yep. I can't remember if I brought this up on the show before, but she's pulled a joke on me where we were talking about her watching the news in school, because I guess that some schools, they'll show like kid oriented news before the thing. It's like CNN 1 or something like that. So they're not talking about like political intrigue or, you know, the war in Russia or anything like that. Just like, hey, here's some lighthearted news that's going on. So she was like, yeah, we were watching CNN 1, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you watch the news and stuff? Like, what kind of stuff is it? And we talked for a little bit, and she was like, Dad, did you hear about the cheese factory that blew up in France? And I said, no. She was like, yeah, there was a lot of debris. And I was like, holy shit. Oh, my God. I fell right for it. I fell right into the trap so hard. I fell into it unknowingly. And I give her that look, and she has this big grin on her face.
Oh, I bet.
And she knew she got me. I was like, oh, man, you set me up so hard. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to be upset. I can't be upset.
Nope.
That's great. It's great. I'm so proud. Yeah, she's hilarious. And that's what's made me happy this week.
I love that. I love that Amy is just really getting into her sense of humor, because she's only in like 2nd grade this year?
4th grade.
What?
Yeah.
That's actually insane to me, because I'm just like, I remember she started like kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, how old is this kid? That's insane. But Chris does those kind of jokes all the time. Like, he used to pull them all the time at the theater on like the staff and like the other managers, and they would always fall for it. And when like, I would love when I was there, because you would just like see it on their face after they realized what had been said, and they're just like, how do you just come up with all this stuff? So I'm very proud of her. I hope she can follow in her uncle's footsteps, because he gets some good ones out there every now and then.
I again, I can't remember what I've said on the show versus what I haven't. Have I told you about the 2 times when I've got to tell the perfect dad joke to both the girls?
Yes, you have told me.
Yes. The
But
crack in the butt.
it's so good. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, one time Alice, she was probably about 5, and she was taking a shower, and she was singing and breakdancing. I hear her bebopping in the shower, and all of a sudden, and I run in there. Are you okay? I fell down and hurt my bottom. I'm like, okay, come here. Let me see. And I'm like, where's that hurt? She's like, my bottom. Okay, cool. Turn around. Nothing wrong with her. But I go, oh. And she turns around with this scared look, and I go, Mommy, Alice fell down and got a crack in her bottom. And she had this scared look for like a second until it clicked with her. And she gave me just this indignant look.
Oh, of course.
Just, how dare you? How dare you make a joke at my expense? Just, Dad. And then later on that evening, she goes like, Dad, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself that I would never, ever, ever be able to present another perfect dad joke again until the stars aligned one night when we were all in the living room. One of those rare nights where we're all in the living room hanging out. We got music playing on YouTube. We're going, like, me and Kelly are like, oh, you guys don't know good music. Listen to this. And we're pulling up songs from the 90s. And I said something, we said something, and someone said, what's that? And I said, oh, that's their motto. And Amy goes, what's a motto?
Oh.
And in slow motion, my eyes got real big, and I go, nothing. What's a motto with you? Oh. And I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed, and Amy realized that she got. Alice was laughing like crazy. It was just the perfect dad joke. I was like, I did not think I'd be able to get both of them. So,
it's beautiful.
God.
I bet that's like one of your like greatest achievements.
It is. It is. It's like, you know, being a dad's great, but when you get to do it's when you have moments like that, it's like, yeah, this is what it's all about right here. This is it. Oh,
so sweet.
All right, Raven, tell everybody where they can find us on the social medias.
Well, you can find us as a podcast on Nerd for No Reason. Just look around. You'll find us somewhere. You don't go on that website? Look on another website. We're somewhere. We're hanging out. I hang out on Instagram a lot at That's So Raven Ellis, and I tag, my other random stuff that I have going on in there sometimes. I am going to continue to call it Twitter because I don't care about X. Screw it. So, if you want to go onto Twitter and see the cute and stupid and weird stuff that I retweet constantly, because I'm like a little ferret, just taking things to its den and just being like, I'm going to store all these here. That's what I do on Twitter. I just retweet all my little things so I can go back at some point and be like, these are great. I think that this is funny. You can find me on Twitter at spooky_Raven. I had to think about it for a second because it's been a minute. Mark.
It has been a while.
It has been a while. Where are you located?
Let's see. I am on Twitter at Turtles Do It. I am on Instagram at Turtles Do It. I am on Threads at Turtles Do It. I am on Facebook, but not really too much. I'm also on Reddit, but I don't want to give up my Reddit information because I like being somewhat anonymous.
Reddit is for yourself.
Right. I have 0 friends on Reddit. But I did just Google Nerd for No Reason just now as we were talking, and literally the first 5 things are us. There's only 5 things, and the first 5 things are us. So if you Google search Nerd for No Reason, the first thing you're going to come to is our website that we have through Podbean, our wonderful podcast host. Then our website looks terrible because I've literally invested 0 time into it.
Oh my goodness.
The second thing is Twitter, then Facebook, then Instagram, and then a dormant YouTube channel. So yes, the first 5 things, you can find us in some shape, form, or fashion. If you just type in Nerd for No Reason, not even podcast, just search for us. We're there, man.
We hang out. We do things.
Yeah. It's
on the sly.
Yeah. It feels good to be back.
Yes. It'll be a good time for us to go and tell you people about all the stupid things we hear about and watch. It's a good time.
For sure.
And you can hear more stories about Mark's funny little kids and whatever weird dog things I got going on. So that's what we do here.
Oh, I got to tell you about Sasha off the air. It's a little bit too much for the show, but oh boy. Oh, I got to. Oh man. All right. Everyone, go do something wonderful in the world today.
You guys go ingest some pretty cool medias, and we'll see you again here next week on the Nerd for No Reason podcast.
Ooh. Oh. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.